Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is April 29, 2023 and we are getting into the volume 77 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up in front of me. Before I begin, I'm gonna mention, as I mentioned in every single video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first question. Comment from Michael Sr. Michael, appreciate another comment. Greetings, I'm in the F2A category and I was looking at the monthly visa issuance report by post, and I've noticed that the embassy in Kingston, Jamaica has not issued any visas in this category, F2A that is, since the start of this year. Could you take a look and clarify, because this could be another holdup for us here in Jamaica. I'm documentarily qualified and waiting. Thanks. Of course, Michael, so whenever it comes to the F2A, I am not sure why. For a while I was thinking that maybe because it used to be current and maybe they only post the stuff that is oversubscribed in those monthly statistics. But for some reason they do post some other categories, like for example the CR1 or IR1, and they're there. The F2B is there, but the F2A, if you look for all the other countries, the cities, the embassies that are in other countries, you will see the same exact thing, that most of them do not list the F2A at all. I don't know why, but for you, the best way I would recommend to do specifically, and for anyone who's watching who is in F2A category specifically, and they want to find out roughly how many immigrant visas for F2A that are being issued by the specific US embassy in a particular country, I'll show you where to find that information and have it a little bit more reliable. Rough, but reliable. All right, we're gonna go to visa statistics. This is the visa bulletin. This link you will find in the description of this video below, and we're probably gonna use it later. But for the purposes to answer this comment, we're gonna go to the visa statistics. And from here, we're not gonna go to monthly, but instead we're gonna go to the annual ones, report of the Visa Office 2022. We're gonna go right here, and then we'll scroll down to the family preference in 2022. We're gonna click on that. This will give us the PDF, and this one document will give us basically the summary of how many immigrant visas were issued per each basically country in each specific continent, and for each particular visa category, preference category. And you can see the F2A is there. So let's find Jamaica. Because this is a PDF document, you can actually search within it, so it makes it very easy. So there you go. So Jamaica, here are the numbers for Jamaica, and I think this is the one that is, so this is the F2A total. So 1,400 visas, and I'm gonna need a calculator for that. So we're gonna divide 1,400 divided by 12. We got 116. So roughly 116 immigrant visas in F2A category that are being issued each month in Jamaica. Now, if you look through the monthly reports, you're not gonna see that. Again, I do not know why just yet. Hopefully, eventually I will find out, figure it out, or somebody can tell me. If you know, if somebody knows and watching this video, let me know. It will be a huge plus for me, because it is the case. You look at the monthly and then you're like, wait a second, the CR1, IR1, F2, F3, F1, they're all there, but not the F2A. F2B is there, but not the F2A. It is strange, but yeah, look at the annual ones, and that will give you a better estimate. So we're gonna post this and we're gonna move on to the next one from Chad Leslie. Good morning again, sir. Just a final question. My priority date is March 2011 and my cast is already at the NVC. I live in Jamaica and I have a KNG number for Kingston. Case number is in Kingston. When do you think I'll hear from them, or will I get through, or it will be finalized by March 2011? Thanks again for this answer in advance. Chad, I'm very sorry. I don't remember your category, which category you were in. Let me know the category and I will give you again the rough estimates. But unfortunately, I can't remember for everybody's, who's asking me in which category they're in. But again, if you are, you know your priority category, you know yourself, if you're documentarily qualified or not. Visa Bulletin, the link is in the description below, May 2023. That's what you're going to be looking at. The Graph B, however long you are from whatever they're processing. Since you're in Jamaica, you're going to be in all chargeability areas. If you are already documentarily qualified, then you're looking at the final action dates, which is the Graph A for those who are documentarily qualified. Keep in mind, some of these are not updated. But yes, that's really all I can tell you right now from your comment. If you let me know more information, again, I will give you rough estimates. All right, let's move on to the next one from MD Ali. Okay, I provide you some information fast. The bond is in USA and UI. It was so long. It was very big story, so I can't say it. And about this bond, it was delivery bond, Form I-352, Dreamland Home Security Bond. MD Ali, your comment is very, very unclear. I do not know how you expect me to answer this comment, not knowing any information, not knowing anything what's going on. I-352, if you have I-352, it means you're bond with ICE. So what you can do is you need to find, let me see, I think it's called Debt Management Center. I believe it's called Debt Management Center. So let's take a look at ICE. Actually, you know what? We can just Google that. We're gonna go to Google. We're gonna go type in ICE Debt Management. There you go. Okay, so it is Debt Management Center. Here you go. This is the very first result that comes up. This is the official government source. As you can see, it's ice.gov, which means it's a government website. So if you look at your I-352, it should have, because this is the bond contract that you have, it should have the information in which of the bond acceptance facilities you have your bond being basically held. So this is who you will need to contact. Find the one that is on this list. There's a phone number listed for each facility. Reach out to the facility where your bond is, and then they will explain you what you need to do, what you need to provide. Assuming that the requirements of the bond have been satisfied. If they have been satisfied, then they will tell you everything you need to submit in order to get your bond back. But again, it's been a very, very long time for you, so I don't know. They will be able to answer that question. But that's really all I can tell you at the moment. Let's move on to the next one from Belay Jam. I'm filing I-730 for family after I got asylum, but there is no requirement to provide tax transcripts. Okay, well, if there is no requirement to provide tax transcripts, then don't provide the tax transcripts. Tax transcripts, as far as I know, it's been a requirement whenever it comes to the NVC processing. They have been specifically requesting the tax transcripts. They do request the tax refunds as well. But whenever it comes to the, becoming documentarily qualified with NVC and also the interview, they have been requesting, as of recent, specifically tax transcripts. But you're dealing with I-730, not with I-130, so this is a different form. But let's move on to the next one from Simone Williams. Simone, thank you for another comment. Pleasant day to you and all the subscribers. I appreciate it. I'm very happy for all the persons whom are already documentarily qualified. Still waiting on my welcome letter. The waiting is exhausting, but by the grace of God, it will happen one day. Just keep praying. Simone, amen to that. By the grace of God, I really hope that it's going to be fast for you and you're not going to be waiting too long for that welcome letter from the NVC. Let's move on to Bianca Castro. Bianca, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed to this channel. I appreciate it. How to file an I-129 petition if work is in multiple cities and locations? Great question, Bianca. Thank you. I appreciate that. What part of the form? Multiple locations. A petition for alien to perform services or labor or receiving training in more than one location must include an itinerary with the date and locations where the services or training will take place. Where? Great question, Bianca. Yes. So basically what it is referring to, the instructions. in the form itself, in the form I-129 itself, in the address, you will be putting, let's say if there are a whole bunch of, what are they called? Like, for example, there is a headquarters, and then they have, let's say if it's like McDonald's, for example, right? They have a headquarters, and then they have their affiliates or whatever it's called all over the place, right? You're putting the head office. That's what you're putting, right? But if it is one of those positions where you will be moving from state to state and you don't have like a permanent location, obviously there is a permanently registered office. That's what you will be putting on the form I-129. And then whenever it comes to the itinerary, you will be attaching your own typed up separate itinerary. It's not part of the I-129 form. It's added as an exhibit to the I-129 form. Basically a supplemental page, supplemental information. And it's literally you yourself typing up, itinerary of the work performed or something like that, and then all of the addresses, if you know them, if they will be permanent addresses. And if really there is no information on where specifically you will be working, like for example, let's say in the field of informational technologies, right? If you're a field technician, obviously there is an office where where everything is processed, where the dispatching is done, where the payroll is kept, and the technicians themselves, they don't have a permanent location. They just driving from work to work, and a day they can do 3-4 different jobs all over the place. So there is no permanent location. In that case, itinerary really is impossible. So the only thing you're putting is the permanent office location. But if you do know that you will be working there, you will be working here, and you will be working here, again, you put your main headquarters in the form I-129 itself, and for all these other locations, you're attaching a separate sheet of paper that says itinerary on the top, or something along those lines, and then all of the addresses listed there, and you're adding that piece of paper as an exhibit to the form I-129. All right, hopefully that was clear, Bianca. I'm very sorry if it wasn't. Let me know in the comments below. If it wasn't, I'll try to explain it a little better. Let's move on to the next one from Yannick. Thanks a lot. It was so educative, Yannick. I'm glad this was helpful. Shinjild Bold, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, says good luck. Thank you, Shinjild. Appreciate it. CS, I don't see 134A under check status. CS, please let me know a little bit more details what you're trying to find, because you're referring to I-134A. I-134A is basically it's very specific form that is out right now, and it's specifically for the countries that are in distress. There are several countries that are eligible right now where the nationals of that country can be sponsored by someone who is here in the United States of America who is willing to sponsor for them. Right now it is Ukraine, it is Cuba, Venezuela, I believe it's Honduras and Nicaragua. I might be wrong. I know it's for a fact Ukraine, Cuba, but again, we can take a look actually right here. There you go. Uniting for Ukraine, I-134A is applicable for the program Uniting for Ukraine, 134A, which is only available online right now, and also for Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. So 5 countries so far that I know of personally that are that allow that program where you can file the I-134A. So CS, if you let me know a little bit more information, which specifically status you're trying to find. You know what? I think I know what you're referring to. I think you're referring to the processing times. Let me just double check, because I think if you check the processing times on USCIS website, you will not find the I-134A. I think that's what you're referring to, but let me double check. And nope, it's not here. Okay, so I'm not 100% on this, but I am pretty sure that it is not showing up here because of the nature of the program itself. First of all, it's fairly new. It just recently came up. When it came out, it used to take about 30 days to process the application. It was very fast. Now, I know some people already from the comments, and again, the comments are very helpful. That goes out for everyone who's watching this video. If you have been dealing with the Form I-134A, please let us know in the comments below. Let us know how long it took you. Because as far as I know right now, there are some people that have been waiting already 3 to 4 months and they have not gotten any response on their 134A. And the reason for that is because obviously, you know, the more people finding out about that form, the more applications are being submitted for this particular program. That's why they switched from paper applications to online applications to streamline the process. Of course, it will make it a little bit faster, but again, the number of applications is growing, so obviously the delay, the processing time is growing as well. I think that's one of the reasons why we don't have it in the processing times, because first of all, we didn't have these programs for long enough to know a good average of how long these applications take, but also it's because it's a temporary program. We're not gonna have this program forever. We're not gonna have the Uniting for Ukraine forever. We're not gonna have this sponsorship opportunities for Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti forever. So I think that's why we won't be able to find. So the best way to do it is just check the case status, and you probably seen me do that. You go to tools, and I'm sure you already know how to do that. I think this is the best way to do it right now. And if you have been waiting for significant time, 3-4 months, because we know that these applications are supposed to be processed fast and they used to be processed in 30 days, reach out to USCIS. Call them and ask them and see if they can give you any information. But this is the best I can give you. So yes, thank you for your question. Sorry if I misunderstood it in the beginning. Let's move on to the next one from Michael Sr. Once again, is it the same thing? Let's see. Greetings, I'm in F2A category, and I was looking at the monthly visa. Okay, Michael, so I already addressed your comment. I'm very sorry. I'm just now getting to your comment here on the volume 75. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. I'm getting more and more questions, and I'm trying to address them faster. I don't want to compromise the quality of my answer. I want to address every question as best as I can. So I don't want to go too fast. So sometimes I don't get on time to your questions and comments. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, Bianca Castro, once again, I-129, another question about I-129. Part 3, Item 5. If the beneficiary is in the United States, complete. In this case, I'm not in the USA. Put not applicable for arrival and departure date. Okay, yes. But do I fill in the passport number? What about my passport details? Date of expires and etc. Thank you. Bianca, you're very welcome. So usually, whenever it tells you specifically, so if let's say you have a section, right, that is not applicable to you, and above it says to skip the whole section if it's not applicable to you, then you skip the whole section. But I'm gonna double check, and we're gonna go to USCIS, and I think it will be helpful for everybody else who's watching this video to see some navigation on official US Citizenship and Immigration Services government website. We're gonna go to forms at the very top here. We're gonna go to all forms, and we're gonna find, you can scroll down, it's a numerical alphabetic order, but we're gonna type in 129 to make it easy. And there you go, petition for non-immigrant worker. We're gonna click on this, and we're gonna find the form itself. I'm gonna open it in the new tab. Actually, we can close this, and we're gonna scroll down. Let's see, Part 3, Item 5. Part 3, Item 5. There you go. If the beneficiary is in the United States, complete the following. So date of arrival, the passport travel document number, date of passport or travel document issued, the current residential address. Okay, let's see. Beneficiary information about the beneficiary you're filing for. Complete the blocks below. Use the attachment 1 sheet to name each beneficiary. Okay, so in this particular instance, because it doesn't say to skip the whole section, if the arrival departure is not applicable, I-94 is not applicable. So these things, just put not applicable. If you don't have the 994, just type in none here. But you do have the passport, put in the passport number. The things that are not applicable, put in not applicable. The things that are applicable, fill them out. So in this case, yes, do fill in the passport information. The reason why I say to do that is because it does not say explicitly to skip the whole section. It only says if the beneficiary is in the United States, complete the following. You're not in the United States, that is true, but you still have the passport number, you still have the, well, you don't have the current non-immigrant status. So for these things, just put not applicable, but for things that are applicable, like the passport number, do fill them out, just to be on the safe side, again, because it does not explicitly say to skip the whole section. I've recently, probably 2 volumes ago, I actually had an application, an example where it literally says just from, let's say, section item 5, skip the item 5 and move to the item 6, for example. And it was exactly a language, like that, telling you to skip the whole section. In this instance, it does not. So to be on the safe side, fill, the information that is applicable to you, fill it out. All right, let's move on to the next one from Patricia P. I filed for my daughter in Trinidad who is over 21 and unmarried. Her priority date is February 2017. Okay, so over 21, unmarried, that's going to be, okay, so I understand by listening to you that it won't be long for her petition to be considered by the NVC. My question concerns the Affidavit of Support. I was self-employed with my own business, but when COVID happened, I retired because I was never able to get any jobs. But my older daughter and her husband are willing to file the Affidavit of Support for her. How do we go about doing this? Patricia, thank you very much for a question. That's a really, really good question. I don't think this ever came up. So, whenever it comes to the I-130 petitions, the stage where the Affidavit of Support comes into play, where your financial, your income comes into play, is with the NVC, is becoming documentarily qualified with NVC. With USCIS, you don't have to deal with any of this. You do provide some financial information, but it really, they care more about establishing their relationship. So what it's going to look like, and I recommend, obviously, I always recommend starting that I-130 petition as soon as possible because it does take some time, even in the categories where you don't have to deal with waiting for the immigrant visa and so far so forth. You still have the wait time. And in your case, because she is over 21, you will have to deal with the availability of the immigrant visa. So the sooner you start, the better. But the way it's going to look, you start the application I-130 with USCIS, you submit, birth certificates, this and that, whatever documents they require, you submit the form. Once it is approved with USCIS, it is transferred to the NVC. With USCIS, you don't have to worry about the affidavits of support, nothing like that. You don't have to worry about the joint sponsor, nothing like that. You're just petitioning for your daughter. Once it is with the NVC, obviously you will be because you are main petitioner, you will be the sponsor automatically because the petitioner is the sponsor. And if you know for a fact, again, I've done it in separate videos, and I actually have a separate video on how much income you have to show. So just because you retired, it does not mean that you don't have sufficient income, because as retired, we get our money from our IRAs, 401ks, Social Security, whatever. So you still might have enough income to sponsor your daughter. So check out that video on how much income exactly you need, how to determine the household size, so far, so forth. If you determine that you definitely do need the joint sponsors, then you will have an option right there on the NVC portal. It doesn't cost anything extra to add additional, joint sponsors to your petition. It's very simple to do. It's all done online within the NVC portal, and you will already know how to do that because you will have to do your own Affidavit of Support beforehand. So it will be just exactly the same thing, only for your older daughter and for her husband, if you need both of them to be the joint sponsors. So thank you for your question. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask them. I will be happy to address it, but it will be very straightforward once it is with NVC. really, all is done online. But as of right now, while your petition is with USCIS, you don't have to worry about any of that. All right, let's move on to the next one from Gargi Bardwash. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. The date of birth on part 2 is for co-applicant or the main applicant. All right, let's take a look. This question is asked on I-539A, which is the extension of stay for a supplemental page for the extension of stay if you are filing the request to extend the duration of stay or change of status for more than one applicant, basically if it's a family. So we're going to take a look for I-539A. Let's see if we can find it here. We're going to go to forms again, all forms, I-539. There we go, I-539, and I think I-539A is hiding somewhere in here. Let's see, forms. There we go, I-539A. So we're gonna open that. I can close this. So let's see, date of birth in part 2. All right, date of birth part 2. Information about you. Okay, let's see. So information about the person filing the form. Okay, great. So this date of birth right here is the information about the second person who is on the I-539. So in the part 1, you're putting the person who is on the main I-539, right? And then the part 2 is going to be for an additional person that you're filing the I-539A for. So let's say, for example, a situation where there is husband and wife, right? Husband is filing the main petition, I-539, not the petition, the application, the form. And then the I-539A is for the wife, right? In this example. So how it's going to look is we're going to look at the I-539A now. This is what it is. In the part 1, there's going to be husband's information, and the part 2 will have wife's information. All right, so let me pause this, make sure that I address that we answer the question, and then we're going to move on to probably one more question for today. We're going to have enough time. Let's see, from Sun and Stars Production. I am in an F1 status for spouse. Green card. Sun and Stars Production. Okay, so something is a little bit of a confusion here, because F1 category is actually for children of US citizens who are over 21 and unmarried. So if it is a spouse and it's based on the permanent resident status, spouse is filing, the spouse who is a permanent resident filing for a spouse who is either here or outside of the United States who does not have the status, that is going to be F2A category and not F1 category. If we're looking at the F2A category, I'm going to go to the visa bulletin. If you're not documentarily qualified yet, then you're looking at the graph B. It's showing current. Don't pay attention to this because it has not been updated yet. It's showing current, which is not correct. Unfortunately, we will see in the next few months. Hopefully this will get updated as well. But if you are already documentarily qualified, then we're looking at the graph A. Now the F2A is updated. It has been recently updated, and it is showing for all chargeability that there is about 2.5 years wait time for those interviews for the immigrant visa to become available, which is showing September 2020, which means that as of right now, as of April, May 2023, they are just now issuing the immigrant visas for the people who are in the F2A category. Now, if you are talking about the F1, which is what you mentioned in your comment, then it's unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens over 21. It doesn't say it here. I don't know why it doesn't say here, but it should say it there. And then we are dealing with completely different dates, completely different numbers, because there's a little bit more of the weight on those. So, Sun and Stars Productions, if you can, please clarify that a little bit in a separate comment. Just make sure that, and it goes for everyone who's watching these videos, if you have any follow-up questions, follow-up comments, please do not respond to my comment within your comment, like for example here, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. I don't know why. Please submit a separate comment and it will show up on this wall in front of me and I will address it. So thank you everyone for your questions. Really appreciate it. As many questions as you have, feel free to ask them on this channel. That's why I started this channel. You guys know I don't sell anything. I don't offer any services outside of this channel. All right, it's not a service because you're not paying for it anything. So that way, no government organization, no business, no attorney can come after me and say, oh yeah, you need some license or something like that. I don't because I'm not offering any kind of service and I'm not asking for any money in return for this. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching. God bless, and I will see you all in the next video.